An American rapper, a trial in Sweden, and a row that's broken out internationally on social media involving presidents and past prime ministers. So what's going on here? Well, let's rewind. A$AP Rocky, on tour in Sweden. On the 30th of June, he's involved in a fight in Stockholm. A video of that fight is posted online. Then we see videos posted to A$AP Rocky's Instagram, 2 videos that he claims shows his perspective in the build-up to this fight. He and his entourage claiming they acted in self-defense. Well, after this incident took place, police detained and later arrested A$AP Rocky, charging him with assault following this incident. We then saw his manager taking to Instagram to claim that the authorities in Sweden were detaining A$AP Rocky in unsafe, unclean conditions, that the rapper was being treated unfairly. Now, we put those claims to the Swedish authorities. They said they couldn't comment on individual prisoners, but they did send us these photographs of the prison where A$AP Rocky is being held, of rooms in that prison, rejecting any claims that the rapper was being treated unfairly. Regardless, though, this idea that A$AP Rocky was being treated unfairly really began picking up in the US, particularly, of course, when Donald Trump, the US president, took to Twitter. He says that Kanye West had got in touch with him and brought up the case with the US president, who then called the Swedish prime minister on behalf of A$AP Rocky, even vouching to pay his bail. Now, in Sweden, they don't have a bail system, but this was the US president getting directly involved. He drew praise from people like Kim Kardashian West. However, Donald Trump didn't stop here. He went back to Twitter after it was announced that A$AP Rocky was being formally charged with assault to pile on the pressure on the Swedish authorities, demanding they give A$AP Rocky his freedom, saying Sweden should sort out its own crime and allow A$AP Rocky to be freed. Now, this led to a strong rebuke from a former Prime Minister of Sweden, saying nobody is above the law. Everybody in Sweden is treated equally. The US president cannot wade in to this case. And indeed, the Swedish ambassador to the US, again, reiterating what the Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister of Sweden, had to say to the president, which is Sweden will deal with this. Nobody, including the US president, can get involved.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.